Welcome back to Veal Echo, where the strangest stories, the darkest mysteries, and the most unsettling legends come alive. Tonight, we step into a tale wrapped in shadow, a story that begins in a quiet English pub but unfolds into one of the most chilling curses in history: the story of the infamous Chair of Death. Imagine walking into an old, dimly lit pub. The wooden floor creaks beneath your boots, the air is heavy with the scent of smoke and ale, and the flicker of candles sends long shadows dancing across the walls. In the center of this pub sits a chair, ordinary at first glance, carved from oak, worn from centuries of use, its surface polished by countless hands. Yet those who dare to sit on this chair never live to tell the tale for long. This is no ordinary piece of furniture. This is the cursed chair of Thomas Busby, a man whose name would become forever tied to death, vengeance, and superstition. Picture this: Thomas Busby himself, a rough and defiant man with eyes that seemed to burn with arrogance, sitting proudly on his chair as though it was a throne. He was no king, but he ruled his space with intimidation, drinking in that very pub that became his haunt. And it was here, amid the laughter of patrons and the clinking of mugs, that darkness began to take shape. In the early 1700s, Thomas Busby was hanged for murder. His crime was brutal and his punishment swift, but before his death he cursed the chair his chair. He swore that anyone who dared to sit in it would meet a swift and untimely end. The curse wasn't whispered in jest. It was spat out in defiance and rage, as though Busby's spirit poured every drop of venom he had left into the very wood of that seat. And after his execution, people began to notice something strange. Chair remained in the pub, and though some laughed at the curse, others quickly stopped laughing when the deaths began. Soldiers during wartime, emboldened by drink and bravado, would sit in the chair as a dare. Many of them never returned from battle. They marched out into the fields of war, and as though fate itself honored Busby's curse, they never came back. Imagine the chilling scene: soldiers sitting on the chair, joking with one another, perhaps even laughing in disbelief, only for death to claim them soon after. The legend grew. Locals began to whisper in fear. In the dim light of the pub, villagers pointed nervously at the chair, their voices low as though the wood itself was listening. Some swore they could see ghostly carvings etched into the grain, glowing faintly under candlelight, symbols that weren't there before. And others spoke of Busby's ghost, his figure flickering in the shadows, his face twisted in anger, haunting the chair that had become his legacy. As the centuries passed, the curse refused to fade. During the Second World War, the chair's reputation deepened. Young pilots from nearby bases, eager to test their courage, would sit in it before their missions. It became almost a grim tradition. But the results were terrifyingly consistent. Many of those who sat in the chair never returned from the skis. Their planes were lost, their fates sealed, as though the curse reached up into the heavens themselves. By this point, the innkeepers knew what they had. The chair was no longer just furniture, it was an object of fear. Some owners tried to hide it away, shoving it into storage, hoping to lock away its curse. Imagine a dusty back room of the inn, cobwebs draped across the beams, the chair lurking in the corner like a predator waiting for its next victim. But even hidden, it called to people. Those who found it couldn't resist the temptation. And again, the curse was never merciful. Villagers grew desperate. Some demanded the chair be destroyed. Others believed that tampering with it would only make things worse. So instead of burning it, they moved it, carried with ropes and gloves, refusing to let their skin touch its surface. The image is chilling: men sweating with fear as they drag the cursed chair into the night, storm clouds gathering above as though the heavens themselves disapproved. And yet, even moved, the curse lingered. Reports continued to surface. Workers, thrill-seekers, skeptics all dared to test the legend, and one by one they met the same fate: sudden accidents, unexplained misfortunes, deaths that seemed to arrive on schedule right after a seat on the chair. Eventually, the chair was locked away. Museums took it in, surrounding it with ropes, glass, and warning signs. Visitors could stare but never touch. It was displayed high on a wall, chained in place, out of reach from even the boldest daredevil. Imagine walking into that museum, staring up at the infamous chair. The plaque beneath it whispers its deadly history, and though you are safe from its curse, you cannot shake the feeling that it is still watching you, waiting for the day it might be free again. Even now, stories circulate. Some say they have seen the chair glowing faintly in the dark, as if Busby's spirit is still bound to it. Others claim the curse is just a story, a coincidence woven into folklore. But what do you think? Is it possible for rage, for hatred, for a dying curse to cling so tightly to an object that it carries death centuries beyond its maker's grave? Or is it simply fear and belief that give the chair its deadly reputation? There are no definitive answers, only whispers in the dark. But one thing is certain: the chair of death remains one of history's most unsettling mysteries, a relic that refuses to be forgotten, a warning carved into wood passed down through time. And if you ever find yourself standing before it, staring into its weathered surface, you might ask yourself a simple question: would you dare to sit?